Yes. So meanwhile, as you take your poll, let us have a quick look at a short video as others join.
Hi, Sarah. I'm Rachel, your AI care manager. How are you doing after your appendectomy?
I'm good. I'm glad to be home with my dog, Dennis.
It's great to hear that you're back home with Dennis. I noticed that Dr. Chang has prescribed you some antibiotics, specifically ciprofloxacin and metronidazole, due to your ruptured appendix. Were you able to get these medications?
I was. I did forget to mention to the doctor that I am allergic to penicillin. Is it still okay to take the medications?
Great question. The antibiotics you've been prescribed, ciprofloxacin and metronidazole, don't contain penicillin. So it's perfectly safe for you to take them. Can you begin taking them today?
Yeah, I certainly can. Do you have any tips for a faster recovery?
Given that you have diabetes, keeping your blood sugar levels in check will be beneficial for your wound healing. Your hemoglobin A1C was at a healthy level of 5.5, but your glucometer readings from yesterday were a bit on the high side. So keep taking your metformin and try to steer clear of foods high in carbs. How does that sound to you?
I think I'll be able to avoid the carbs for the week. I need to go right now, but it was great talking to you.
I'm glad we had this talk. I'll pass along your progress to Dr. Chang.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So for decades, the stethoscope has helped the doctors listen, right? So today, AI is helping us to see the patterns. It is helping us to predict the risks and also to support the decisions, even before the symptoms are obvious. Right? So here's my opening question to you. Okay. So is AI threat to your role or is it becoming your next clinical assistant? What do you think? Is AI a threat to your role? Yes or no? No. Okay. Okay. If you are saying yes and if you are saying no, okay, let's hold this thought for now. So we will come back to it as we move from diagnosis to decisions in this session. Okay. So before that, let me just give a brief about me. Well, I am Dr. Kashmira Ganji, and I have spent over last 5 to 6 years in this crossroads of management, medicine, and also the technology. So where I've been watching how this AI is shifting from sci-fi fantasy to this real-world clinical applications in this century. So today we are not just talking about theory, we will be talking about certain real life tools, real tools that are going to save real lives. Okay, so look around this virtual room. So we have got clinicians, we have got engineers, so we have got future doctors also, students are there, and entrepreneurs. So why should you all care about this AI in healthcare? Why should you all care about this topic? Because, see, this AI in healthcare is not about replacing humans. Okay, it's about how we are going to augment ourselves with all our collective genius. It is not just the doctor, or it is not just the clinician, or it is not just the technology person. It is how we are all coming together and augmenting our life, our work life. Okay. So, yeah, let me start with a simple question. So, how many of you have used stethoscope either directly or indirectly in your professional life? Yes, have you used stethoscope before? Yes or no? Yes? Yes. So if you're a clinician, that is obvious. But if you're a technologist or any student or from other profession, at least you must have seen one, right? Yes. So now here is a follow-up question. So when was the last time stethoscope has warned you that a patient might get worse tomorrow, even before the symptoms appeared. Does it ever happen? Did the stethoscope warn you prior that the patient is going to get worse in tomorrow, even before the symptoms have appeared? No, right? So the stethoscope listens to you, but it doesn't predict, right? So that gap is exactly where this artificial intelligence in healthcare comes in. So this course on AI in healthcare, it's not about turning you healthcare professionals into data scientists. It's about helping you understand how AI is moving from how we are turning healthcare from diagnosis to make better decisions, how to react to symptoms rather than moving from reacting to symptoms to anticipating the risk, predicting the future. Okay, so let me ask you another question. So you can respond it in the chat box. So what do you think? So if AI is going to flag that the patient is at high risk, will you trust it or not? Will you trust it? Yes or no? What do you think? If AI is going to flag that patient is at high risk, will you trust its decision? Yes or no? No? Okay. 50-50? Partially, not completely. You trust and recheck. Yes. So now I'll add up to this. So if you understand the reason behind it, why the AI is predicting that flag, will you trust it then? Maybe. I'll definitely re-examine. Okay. Yes. Right? So we can trust it. Okay. So see, we are seeing multiple answers, right? Maybe. So the hesitation that you're feeling here is that is the core problem that we are going to address in this course on AI in healthcare. Okay, so now coming back to our today's session on webinar. So from diagnosis to decisions, why AI is the new stethoscope. So we will unpack all these things together. So first, in this session, we will talk about why AI is where all AI is already embedded in hospitals and clinics and other workplaces. So often it is there already and it is not actually labeled as AI. And we will also cover secondly how clinicians and healthcare professionals they can actually use AI without writing any single line of code. So you don't need to be a programmer to benefit from AI, right? And third, we will look at the explainable AI aspect. Okay, we will answer this important question. Would you trust an AI recommendation if you don't know the reason behind it? So this is where actually the diagnostic trust comes in. Okay. Next, fourth, I'll share some use cases from the global healthcare scenario across diagnosis, across imaging, and also across operations, several administrative operations. So I'll try to keep this session as practical as possible. So it is not a theoretical session. Okay. So finally, in the end, I'll be talking about, like, I'll give you a brief idea about this AI in healthcare course. And also I'll show you how the ideas that we discussed through the course and how are we converting it into a capstone project where the learners will be applying the AI concepts, whatever we have learned through use cases to real healthcare problems. Okay. So in the end, I wanted to say that think of this AI, it is not replacing the clinical judgment, but it is acting as some decision support instrument, just like the stethoscope was doing. Okay, so by the end of this session, my goal is very simple. When somebody asks you AI in healthcare, so you should be able to say, yes, I know where it fits, I know where it is going to help, and I know where it must be questioned, right? So moving on. So let us look at some interesting aspects of what research is suggesting, right? So it is predicted that over a period of time, there is going to be a shortage of healthcare professionals. Okay, there is going to be healthcare crisis, and majorly it is going to impact on age old population, not just aging population, for that matter any population over the globe. So if you see this global statistics since 1960, so it's almost doubled now, right? The aging population is growing, and it is very important to understand the impact. So if we are not ready to take up this crisis, it's going to have a significant impact on them, right? Moreover, with this growing population, and also World Health Organization, WHO, it is predicting that there is not going to be enough caregivers present. So it is going to be very difficult for this aging population, for that matter of any age group. Okay, so now we are living longer, that is fine, but that comes with several chronic diseases, chronic conditions, diseases of like others like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, okay, cataracts, and also we have challenges with mobility. So these are all increasing, and they're putting more pressure, more strain on healthcare system. See, as the longevity increases, we are seeing there is going to be a shift in this disease patterns. See, chronic illness, so diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, like these are all increasing rapidly, and these are the problems, they are there with us already, right? And hence we need to come up with some innovative solution. And also we have others like cancer, heart disease, respiratory disease, kidney disease. So these are all problems, they are there with us, and it is going to be very challenging for us in maintaining and supporting the aging population, right? It's going to be challenging, and apart from this, we also have new problems coming in, right? As the lifestyle is changing, the healthcare demand is growing, and it is very important. See, the other mental issues like anxiety disorders, depression, burnout, addictions, diabetes, obesity. So we are seeing new challenges, these kind of challenges in healthcare. It's increasing, and it is very, very important to address them, right? So how do we take it ahead? So you see, the trend of addressing this is basically we need to focus on reducing the risk aspect, right? So it is very important to address it when it is at low risk. So the more we adapt technology, the more we get involved into it, we can focus on the aspects, all these things at a early stage of life. So it is extremely important to address them at the early stage of life, rather than we wait till the end of life care, till we adopt it and focus it at the end. So it's going to be very expensive at that point, and also it is increasing the risk level, right? So the idea is that we need to focus on shifting our life care to healthcare towards left portion of the curve. Okay, so that is the reason we are leveraging the technology so that we can be more proactive, and we are focusing on preventive measures rather than post recovery, rather than at the end of life care. Okay, so we are leveraging to focus on the preventive care, and so that we will not end up in this expensive treatment at the high risk stage. Okay, so how do we take it ahead? So now is the time for us to focus on to transform our healthcare with technology, right? It is very, very important for us to adapt to this upcoming technologies in healthcare. See, over a period of time, we can't grow healthcare providers as per the demand that is there. And also, we cannot, what do we say? We cannot increase the number of resources that we have to match the demand that is there, right? So, the only solution that we have is to leverage the technology. And one of the major reasons for this session, for this discussion, is how can we apply those next generation technologies? How can we get ahead of the curve? How can we make us use them effectively? And we also need to make sure that they are actually meeting the needs correctly, right? So the idea is that we are able to reach to more number of patients in less period of time, right? So that we are not leaving anyone behind to take the healthcare, right? So it is very important for us to not just understand the technical aspects of technology, but also we need to understand like for whom it is going to benefit from the application point of view, how it is going to transform the healthcare industry, right? What all stakeholders are going to be affected, impacted with this applications of healthcare technology, whatever the innovations that are happening recently, and how it is going to transform the care that it is offering, right? Of course it will definitely take some time. It is not going to happen overnight. It will definitely take time, lot of time to impact, like to adopt to those new things. It will definitely take time. So let me ask you this question. So yeah, let us you answer it in your chat box. So I'll show you some technologies, and you answer me how many years it took, do you think? Just give a guess, to get to 50 million users. Okay, so first thing is automobile. What do you think? How many years or how long does it took to get to 50 million users? What do you think? Answer it in your chat box. 10 years? 10 years. Okay. 5 to 8 years. 50 years. Okay. Don't know. No issues. We will reveal the answer. No worries. 30 years. Okay. Okay. I see some responses coming in. So let us look at it. How many years it took? It took 62 years to reach to 50 million users. Okay. So now let us move to another technology. It is telephone. What do you think? Drop your guess. 20 years? 30 years? Okay. 30 years. 35 years. 20 years. Okay, okay. So let us see. Yes, 50 years. You're right, Vinita. So now let us proceed for next technology, computer. What do you think? 50 years. Okay. 20 years, 30 years, 60 years. Okay. 40, 80 years. Okay. So yeah, it took, let us reveal the answer. It took 14 years. So now next one is interesting one. Internet. Type your guess now. 1 year, okay. 8 years, 7 years, 15, okay. 5 to 10, 2 years, okay. So yeah, let us reveal the answer. It took 7 years, okay. So now the final one. Don't overthink, just give your random guess. Artificial intelligence. How long did you think it took to reach 50 million users? 3 months, yes, it is 2 months. So let us sink this in. So what is happening? So this is not just the faster adoption. This is completely a different scale of change that happened, right? And healthcare is somewhere in middle of it. Okay, so yes. So now, when we talk about the digital innovation, the digital medical revolution that is happening, see, every medical device that we are using is reinvented. Okay, so earlier there is a lot of paperwork, lot of manual work that is being done. I think even now to some extent, right? But now with this digital revolution that happened, so with the help of EHR devices, EMR device applications, so we are moving towards digital world, right? But still there are some challenges in terms of like integration. Like how do we ensure that it needs to be integrated or aggregated in the right way, right? That is very important. And how are we making use of these new digital platforms? How are we able to reach to more number of individuals? But we also need to ensure that it is integrated and it is being made used in a effective way, right? So it is very important to understand from every stakeholder point of view, not just the technical machine learning coding or some technical point of view, but we need to focus on how we are actually going to apply it from the patient end, from the clinician end, right? From other stakeholders and in the hospital management, right? So it is very important for us to understand the current needs. Is it actually matching the current needs? Just bringing up the technology is not enough. How are we going to use it effectively is also important, right? So yes, apart from this we also have some new platforms, new aspects like smartwatches, sensor devices, fitbit bands, okay, fitness bands. So we see, when you see the world population and the number of mobile phone users, it is more than half. See, almost more than half, 6.78 billion users of mobile, they are using mobile phone, right? So this is one of the incredible platform for collecting your data and also for providing some communication, right? So it will help us to know better insights and it will help us to know, go towards the preventive care, and it is helping to support the patients, right? So apart from this, we also have, now we are entering into this cloud based platform, right? So we have healthcare informatics. Altogether it allows us to do amazing things, right? Cloud based platforms. So in order to make use of this, like it is actually helping us to aggregate the information, right? But again, like as a healthcare professional, we should ensure that we should be very careful, like who is accessing the information, because it is a patient information. We should be very careful about the patient privacy, right? Because with this, what happens is that the access to the data is there for several stakeholders, right? Maybe for technology scientists, or maybe for the program administrators, right? Maybe for the policy makers, clinicians, for any other individuals, right? So to have the access to the data is one thing, and but we also need to ensure how are we going to secure it when we are sharing the information, because it is very sensitive information in terms of patient data, right? So we need to ensure that how appropriately we are utilizing it, right? So but this cloud ecosystems, they are actually interconnected with wearable devices, right? Clinical dashboards and cloud based analytics is possible, so which is very rapidly evolving, and there are a lot of advantages if we are using it in a right way, okay? And not just this, we are now evolving into a new different applications, like in terms of capturing the cognitive emotions, right? So we are capturing the data from our biomarkers, brain health biomarkers, right? So this will also have an access to voice analytics. So what is happening is it will capture your voice and it is able to measure the level of anxiety, the level of depression that undergoes for a human, right? And it is also capturing the facial expressions, the non-verbal communication, right? Lot of advanced versions are there, which can be used for the analytics purpose, right? So and not just these, we also have the upcoming next generation technologies, like other technologies like artificial intelligence, robotic surgeries, okay, and even nanomedicine, okay, genetic engineering. So there are a lot of new advanced technologies which are coming in convergence, right? So when they are integrated together, what is happening? It is going to make a lot of difference. So we are going to see a new healthcare delivery system altogether, right? So in our course on AI in healthcare, like I'll be explaining about each of these technologies in detail. We will also guide you through some real life use cases for each of it, and we will try to demonstrate it using the case studies point of view. Okay, so now with the interest of time, I'm not going it in detail, right? But we will be discussing all its applications from the case study point of view. We will see how real world strategies are being used with all these new advanced technologies. Okay, what kind of challenges are they facing? What kind of new advancements and benefits that they are seeing when they have integrated these kind of technologies in healthcare applications, right? So now with the limited time, I'm not going it in detail, but we will cover all these things in our AI in healthcare course. Okay, so over the last few years, we must have, like, you must have experienced all these things, right? So all these new applications of AI, the applications of machine learning techniques, these are all having a lot of impact on clinical applications, and it is going to make a very big difference when they are all integrated together, right? So on the bottom line, what I wanted to tell you is that healthcare is changing dynamically, right? A lot of new things are coming in, but it is very important for us to understand how to incorporate them, right? How to make use of them effectively, right? How can we reach out to more number of patients in very efficient way, right? So now the important thing. So now, what is the role of a clinician now? See, not just a clinician, but any healthcare professional. So we are seeing a lot of advancements that are happening in terms of technology. All that is there now in terms of healthcare informatics, right? But also medicine is now becoming more of healthcare informatics, right? But as a profession, as a healthcare professional, we still need to focus on factors like empathy, physical engagement, right? The interpersonal relationships. Because this is the actual foundation of clinical process, right? So that's what I said. It is not about the digital thing, but it is also about the physical aspect. Both are equally important now, right? So as a clinician, we need to understand whatever the data that we are capturing through these devices, through these technologies, we need to process it, right? We need to understand it, what is happening behind it, right? What is the role of this technology, what is the logic behind this recommendation, right? So the understanding is very important as a clinician. Correct. So we can say that during COVID, I hope most of you have witnessed it. So the power of telemedicine, right? So telemedicine, we are able to reach out to more number of patients. So we need to understand as a clinician how we are going to, how this technology is going to impact, right? How are these, we are making use of these resources in a more efficient way. There are ready-made analytics that are given by the technology, that is fine, the technology is giving us, but now the doctor has more time to focus on the engagement, not on the reports, not on the data of the patients, but they are actually focusing on now engagement with the patient, the personal interaction with the patient, right? The physical interaction with the patient, right? These are all things which are very important in pure healthcare services, right? Now the doctor has more time to focus on all these things. See, it is not the AI that is going to take away the job, but the clinician who is using AI will definitely replace the clinician who is not using it, right? So it is very important for us to understand the reality that all these tools, advanced technology, they are making our job more effective way, so we are able to reach people in more efficient way, right? So now, yeah, let me ask you a question. So how many of you think that AI in healthcare is still experimental today in healthcare? Yes or no? Do you still think AI in healthcare is still experimental phase? No, right? See, yes, it is experimental. Okay, so this examples that I'm going to discuss now, it's going to surprise you. So AI is already working quietly in everyday healthcare. So in radiology, if you see, AI is going to help to prioritize some critical scans. So life-threatening scans which are there, they move to the top of the reading list faster. So it doesn't replace the radiologist. It is helping them to see the urgent cases first, right? In pathology, AI is analyzing the digital slides, right? It is able to detect the patterns that are difficult to spot, that naked eye couldn't spot, especially when there is a heavy workload. Okay, so in cardiology, if you see, the AI is going to support the ECG interpretations. Okay, it is going to flag the abnormal rhythms in an early stage, right? So it is acting as a second human eye, right? So in triage, in ICU risk situations, so AI system is going to generate early risk alerts. So it is going to help clinicians identify the patients who might deteriorate even before the symptoms, even before it is obvious. So in ICU, if those few minutes are also very important, correct? So any clinical care, any hospital operations also, it is going to optimize the patient flow. So it is able to reduce the waiting time, bed shortages, operational bottlenecks. So all these things. And AI is not coming in healthcare, it is already there, working in background. But now the real question is, it's not if we use AI, but how well we understand it and how well we trust it. Okay, so there are some global evidences. So, do you think, like, let me ask you this question: like, do you think AI adoption in healthcare is still an optional? What do you think? No, no. See, the global evidences are already clear here. The answer is very clear in front of you. See, AI is no longer an experimental. It is already in the mainstream. So today, majority of the healthcare organizations worldwide, they are already using some form of AI. It is not in pilots, it is not trials or not a deployment. Okay, if you see in 2024, the kind of the global AI in healthcare market, it is valued at some 26.57 billion US dollars, right? It is growing every year, 39% every year, right? So now, what do you think? Let me pause here and ask you. So markets don't just portray things just like that, right? So they without any real outcomes, they don't portray such things, right? So the growth is driven by some diagnostics, better diagnostics, improved diagnostics, better workflows, right? Cost reduction and faster decision making. So this is the value that we are going to see out of as we incorporate AI in healthcare, right? So now let us look at some of the interesting applications where you can make use of AI in healthcare. So yes, so let me play this video for you. There is no audio here, you just enjoy the visuals. Okay. So you got the point, right? What is happening? So in diagnostics and imaging, see, these are very most impactful areas where AI in healthcare is there today. Okay, so in radiology, AI can analyze the X-rays, CT scans, MRIs. Okay, they often detect the early signs conditions like lung cancer, if there are any strokes, any fractures. Right. For example, AI can actually flag if there is any suspected pulmonary in the CT scans. Okay, in fraction of minutes. So it allows the radiologist to prioritize those critical cases first, right? In pathology, if you see, AI models can actually scan those digital slides, and it will highlight the abnormal cells. So it is going to specifically highlight the exact tissue where exactly the problem is. So it will help the pathologist to identify if there are any cancers or any rare conditions. So even faster and with greater accuracy. Okay, so in dermatology also, there are several AI powered applications, and we will analyze it. So using, they are able to analyze the skin lesions. Okay, just with a smartphone photo. Okay, so it is going to help understand the triage cases. Okay, melanoma and other skin diseases even before like patient even sees a specialist. So we are going to cover all these tools, its applications in detail, how to make use of those tools in our AI in healthcare course. But now I'm just giving you a brief idea, like what are the applications that are there globally, and how just giving an awareness what is exactly happening in the industry. Okay. So beyond these, AI is also helping in cardiology, okay, dentistry aspect, ophthalmology aspect. Okay, so the outcome is that like it is more accurate, more scalable diagnostics, and more it is supporting more number of clinicians and expanding our reach to the remote location, the undeserved areas. Okay, so yes. So some of the emerging applications in radiology, if you see, let me show this video for you.
When a patient is scanned for an MRI, high-powered magnets and radio waves gather raw data to create images of their anatomy. But capturing all this data can take up to an hour, which can be difficult or impossible for some patients who can't stay still like small children. Long scan times also limit how many patients can be evaluated in a day, especially in places with limited MRI access. It also means that MRIs could be too slow for emergency situations like strokes, where doctors need images quickly.
With Fast MRI, NYU Langone and Facebook AI are using artificial intelligence to make MRI scans much faster. To do this, we created the largest open-source de-identified MRI dataset and used it to train a deep neural network. This enables our AI to generate accurate images from far less data. Since less data is needed, scans can be much faster.
We've now completed the first major test for Fast MRI. In a rigorous clinical study, radiologists found AI-generated images created with 4 times less data were diagnostically interchangeable with traditional MRIs. Additional testing is currently underway, but the study shows that with AI, we can significantly improve the patient experience and provide the benefits of MRIs to many more people. And we believe this open collaboration between AI researchers and medical imaging experts can serve as a model for future breakthroughs.
So this is about Facebook Meta in collaboration with NYU Langone. So basically the idea is to go for faster MRI scans. Okay. Yes, in our AI in healthcare course, you will be not only taught with the use cases, but also we will guide you through build your own AI model specific to your use case. Okay, for during your capstone project, we will be covering all those things. So now moving on. So when people hear about AI in healthcare, So it is like the hype that sounds like it is fully autonomous clinical decisions. Robots are replacing doctors. So it is a magic box that gives just answers without any explanation. So let me ask you, will you actually be comfortable with any of that in clinical practice? Yes or no? No, right? You won't be comfortable with these kind of fully autonomous robots replacing doctors and recommendation without explanation. No, right? So it is very right. Most clinicians says no, and because that is not the reality. What AI is actually doing is it is working as it is a decision support making. It is not a decision maker. Okay, so it excels at understanding the patterns, understanding the like it recognizes if any unique patterns at a large scale, right? Which humans might not be doing it consistently if you have some millions of data points, right? And most importantly, the healthcare is the AI in healthcare. It is designed as a clinician in the loop. Okay, human still stays in the loop. Human stays in control. Okay, so the modern AI systems that are currently coming up, so they provide transparent and explainable insights. Okay, it shows why that recommendation was made, not just a simple what is the recommendation. Okay, so the key takeaway here is that AI is not replacing the clinical judgment, it is actually augmenting it. Okay, so we need to understand this difference. So we need to understand where exactly to use AI and how to effectively use AI, right? So that is what we are learning in this AI in healthcare course. We have, so I'll guide you through this about the course in shortly. And okay, so moving on. So this is very clear, right? There is no coding required for you. So most of the doctors are still interacting with AI just through a click-based dashboards. Okay, very similar to the clinical systems that you're already using it. Most of you must be already using generative AI tools, right? ChatGPT, maybe for your clinical summaries, discharge notes. Yes, yes or no? Are you using generative AI tools like ChatGPT for clinical summaries, documentation purpose, notes, without touching any code, right? But we are going to guide you in this AI in healthcare course how effectively you make use of it. You know, you are just giving a question, it gives you the answer. But can you customize your GPT just specific to your healthcare application? So we will guide you through all those things in our course, how to make use of these tools, existing tools, in a more efficient way. We will be demonstrating it using a specific healthcare example across different healthcare streams. Okay, so for clinical clarity also, like explainable tools like Shapley, Lime. So we will demonstrate all those tools. It will help us to know why an AI model is giving you that recommendation, why the AI model is giving the recommendation that patient is at high risk. Okay, instead of just giving a blind score, we will also know the explanation, the reasoning aspect. So we will demonstrate all these tools, how to take up the AI recommendation and get it explained, get the reasoning aspect. Okay, so that you can trust the system, trust the recommendation, and you can cross verify with your medical knowledge. Okay, so very importantly, many AI algorithms are embedded directly in with this AI, like within this EMR systems. So they are working silently in the background as a part of routine workflows. Okay, so AI in healthcare is becoming more usable, more accessible, and more clinical friendly. Okay, without turning the doctors into a programmers. So you don't need to be a programmer to learn to take the benefit of AI. Okay, so next, the data that it is going to use it is like this is a natural question, how this AI is going to work, right? So it is basically the data. So AI in healthcare is only as good as your clinical data is. So it is learning from your clinical data. So first, the major source is your EMR records, the diagnosis, lab values, the medication, the clinical notes, okay, all those things. And also the radiology and pathology data, the images, the digital slides. So this is the data where the AI exactly learns from, and it will recognize the patterns, okay, and it will understand if there are any abnormal situations from the data. And vitals and wearable data, so this is all there, like heart rate, oxygen levels, activity. Okay, this is all allowing the AI to move from like reactive to proactive care. It is offering a continuous monitoring, right? So now moving on. So how does it do the interpretation? So we will be learning all these machine learning techniques, and we will take the real use cases and real data sets from the healthcare which is available, and we will demonstrate you how the AI is going to do the prediction, okay, the pattern recognition from this patient records, risk prediction, how it is doing it. Okay, so yeah, we have this explainable AI in healthcare, but so let me take you through this very briefly. Basically, explainable AI is something it is not the black box anymore. AI is not the black box anymore. Okay, like it takes the data, it generates the output, but without any reasoning. No, so we are moving towards explainable AI, because in clinical setting, an AI tells the doctor that patient is at high risk of stroke without any explanation. Would you trust it? No, right? Yes or no? You won't trust it, right? Because it creates the transparency barriers, trust barriers. Somebody asked, the robots are doing operations. How can we trust it? See, without any reasoning, you can't trust it. So that is what this explainable AI comes in. Okay, explainable AI, it makes the AI's decision making more transparent, more interpretable. Okay, so we will see all these tools that make use of that give the explainable AI part, along with the complete demonstration in our AI in healthcare course. Okay, so see, this is what is the difference between traditional AI and explainable AI. Traditional AI modules, they focus more on accuracy aspect. Okay, so it is very difficult to understand, difficult to interpret. Although it is accurate, we don't know why the answer has come. Okay, that is what we do in explainable AI. It's a next step ahead. Not only accuracy, but we also know the reasoning. Okay, the explanation is there. Okay, for example, you have an image classification. So it might highlight which part of the X-ray, it needs to be diagnosed for pneumonia. Exact portion, exact tissue, where exactly is the problem. So in structured data, you can also show, it could also show which feature is actually causing you the heart stroke. Is it the age factor? Is it the blood pressure? Is it the cholesterol levels? So what is the key driver for its risk prediction? So traditional AI is more of black box, more for accuracy only. But now the advanced AI models are coming up with explainable AI. So it balances both accuracy also and interpretation also. The transparency, the reasoning is there. Okay, so moving ahead, so now it is very clear, right? What is happening with this explainable AI? So it shows how the inputs lead, what inputs leads to outputs, like which data points are influenced for decision, like justification for the recommendations are given. Okay, so the confidence levels are now more. The doctor can now trust it more, right? Of course, he has to be in the loop to match it with his recommendation, but he's now more faster and now more efficient, and now he is more able to reach more number of patients at a large scale, right? So it would also provide alternative outcomes. So what would it need to change for this prediction to be different? What feature you have to focus on to change this prediction? So all those alternative outcomes will also be given. So we will discuss all these tools, explainable AI tools, AI. We will cover it in detail with the demonstrations, with the use cases, hands-on practice in our AI in healthcare course. Okay. So moving on. Yes. So now that you got some understanding about this AI tools, AI in healthcare, explainable AI, right? So now let me take you back to our course on which is offered by ENICT Academy, IIT Kanpur. Okay, so our team will share you the website details in the chat. You can go through it, and also you will be receiving the mail after the session. Okay, so this is basically this course is for healthcare professionals, technologists, and anyone who wants to understand how AI is changing in healthcare. Okay, so the global industry in healthcare is rapidly changing, right? We are seeing a lot of digital transformation happening. So it is not about transforming the paper records to the computers. We are actually talking about how the systems can read the MRI scans and suggest the possible diagnosis even before the like even it can draft the patient discharge summaries automatically. Okay, so this course is offering a comprehensive guide on it is going to cover everything from the fundamentals of AI to its real world applications in healthcare. Okay, so the course structure is as follows. So it will be for in Saturday and Sunday. It is going to be for 12 weeks, 4 hours a week. So every day it's going to be 2 hours, Saturday and Sunday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Indian timings, and it's going to be online. Okay, and this is the weekly breakdown. You will also see the module details in the website, which is shared in the chat box. You will find it. So we are going to have some assessments in between, quizzes as the module ends, and also the evaluation. And you will also be guided for the capstone project pitching. And you will be demonstrated with some 15 plus AI tools where you will be working with healthcare data sets and the hands-on experience with the tools, and you can directly make use of it for your work life in healthcare. Okay, so the main idea is that our aim is to give you both conceptual understanding as well as the hands-on with to work with these AI tools specifically for healthcare applications. Okay, not clinical applications only. We are going to cover from different industries like pharmacy, other nursing and allied sciences, and also we are going to cover the administrative operations in healthcare. Okay, so it is all about not about coding, not about working with the algorithms or programming. We are going to understand how AI is going to solve real life use cases. Okay, whether it is for predicting, whether it is for designing an AI model for your own problem. Okay, so this is what all these skills you will learn here. So you will be understanding how you can translate these digital tools directly into your work life, directly into your business if you are an entrepreneur. Okay, so yeah. So what are the outcomes that you understand by the end of this course is that you will be able to understand the fundamentals of AI, machine learning, deep learning. Okay, analyze the clinical data sets, generative AI models. Okay, evaluate the applications of AI for diagnostic, for treatment purpose. Okay, you will also understand the ethical aspect, ethical regulations. What are the challenges that are there? And we will also help you to develop a healthcare AI startup concept. Okay, so yes, all your questions are answered in the website. Okay, so before we close, So let me show you the outcomes. So let us understand what you are going to gain after completing this course. So you are now no longer thinking about AI in healthcare. You are able to think and act like an AI informed decision maker. So you will know where to trust AI, when to question it, and how to support better clinical and operational decisions. Okay, so you will gain the real world experience by building your own AI enabled healthcare solutions. You will be working on real life problems that actually exist in the hospitals and healthcare systems today. Okay, so you'll become more comfortable in using this explainable AI tools, generative AI tools specific to clinical context. So AI now no longer feels like a black box, but you will be able to understand it clearly, how to interpret and how to explain the recommendations from it. So you will understand the certain data sets that we are going to drive you, the real world examples. And we will also talk about the FHIR guidelines, HL7 guidelines. So you are now more ethical, aware about the ethical aspect, safety aspect of these applications of AI in healthcare. Okay, so apart from this, your communication also improves. Okay, you can confidently collaborate with the other clinicians, data scientists, engineers, other administrative people. Okay, through this capstone project, you will apply everything what you learned in this course. So with a guided mentorship, and you will have a chance to pitch in many other aligned roles of AI. Okay, so the real outcomes of this course is not just the knowledge, it is going to shift how you see the technology decisions and what is your role of for future of healthcare. Okay, so let me show you the website as well, although the details are shared in the chat. So this is the website where it's a 12-week online course. So these are all tools that will be demonstrated, very specific to healthcare applications. And these are all the module details. You can go through them in detail. These all things will be covered. And this is the sample certificate that you will receive. And course fee and other details are mentioned. Whatever the FAQs are there, you can go through in the website. Okay. So let me stop sharing my screen and let me take some of the questions that you have. The fees details are provided in the website. You can go ahead and check it. How it will provide us employment. So this is a certification course and you can explore the employment opportunities with the skills that you learned here. Okay, so what kind of roles do participants take up after the course? Yeah, I already mentioned it in the slides, right? So will it provide recruitment assistance? Um, it's not directly providing you the placement and all, but it will definitely help you to take up the role for aligned with the AI. Yeah, fees details and all you can go through in the website. Through this course, do we learn to develop AI tools relevant to medicine or only learn to how to use them? No, we are having a capstone project where you will not only learn how to use it, but also you have to design your own AI model and you have to present it in the capstone project, which you are going to take up with a real life use case, real healthcare problem, and you are going to work on it and apply it in your work life and for your own purpose. So through this course, how do we learn to develop AI tools relevant to medicine? Yes, it's already answered. When is the course starting? So it is going to begin from January 3rd, 2026, next month. Yes, if you have any further questions, The floor is open. We can take it. I hope you all enjoyed the session. I hope you gained some information and some insights. No, it's only one faculty. I'll be teaching the course. Yes, all the medical professions can make use of it. Even if you are a biology student, yes, you can take up the course. What is the next level? So you have to register, sign up for the course from the website, and our team will get connected with you for further next steps. So capstone project is basically you will be guided with a real life problem in healthcare, and you will apply whatever the AI tools that you have learned in the course. You will be working with the team, and you will be working demonstrating your own, designing your own, building your own AI solution for solving that real life problem, and you will be pitching it. So this is a part of the course. So weekly it is going to be for 4 hours, Saturday 2 hours and Sunday 2 hours, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Indian timings. It's an online course. So it's going to be for 12 weeks. Yes, public health use cases will be covered. So we have case studies from HBR as well as from other research papers. So we will be demonstrating you the complete case studies from the real world global applications. Definitely, this course is going to make you industry ready. So we are going to cover the complete tool demonstrations for applications of AI in healthcare. Okay, so you will be learning it practically. You will be learning it with the use cases, case studies based point of view. So yeah, and it is beginner friendly course. There is no coding kind of required. So you can always enroll. Yes, thank you everyone for joining. So in case you have any further questions, you can always approach our team. You can always get in touch with our team and get it clarified, whatever the questions that you have. Thank you everyone for attending this session. Yes, it is going to help Ayurveda doctors as well. We are it is open applicable for any clinical applications and administrative tasks and other stakeholders in hospital management also. So it is helpful for medical students as well. Yes. Yeah, there is a contact number given in the chat box. So participants will definitely be contacted from our side also. But otherwise, in case you want to reach out, you can take those contact number and get back to us. Yes, it is helpful for homeo medical students as well. Definitely. We are having certain case studies for clinical application and for other non-aligned healthcare clinical applications also. So it is definitely going to help for any kind of medical students. Yes, in case you have still further queries that we couldn't answer in this short period, yeah, we will take it up further as you get in touch with us. So thank you everyone for joining this session. So we will end up for now. Yeah, thank you.